Most people found Shadow and Bone through Netflix, a story of magic, war, and light in a world divided by darkness. An orphaned girl discovers she has a unique power, a gift that makes her a symbol, a weapon, and a legend. The show gave us her origins, her struggles, the beginning of her destiny. But it didn't give us the ending. Because Netflix canceled Shadow and Bone. And with it, the real fates of Alina, Mal, Nikolai, and the Darkling were left unanswered. What seemed like a story of love and power was really just beginning. But the books kept going. The real story continued on pages many never got to read. Today, we're going to tell you the true ending of the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Not the one we saw on screen, but the one Leigh Bardugo wrote in her trilogy, Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising. Get ready to find out what really happened next. Alina Starkov grew up an orphan in the Duke's estate in Karamzin, alongside her best friend Mal. Since they were children, they were inseparable. Years later, as adults, they both serve in Ravka's First Army, in a nation split by an impenetrable darkness called the Fold. This desolate, terrifying region is home to monstrous creatures called Volcra that devour anyone who dares cross it. During a mission to traverse the Fold aboard a sand skiff, their group is attacked. As Mal is about to be killed, a blinding light bursts from Alina, driving the Volcra back. Alina loses consciousness, unaware that she has just revealed a power that will change her destiny. Back at camp, Alina is brought before the Darkling, the most powerful Grisha and commander of the Second Army. He tests her and confirms the unthinkable. Alina is a sun summoner, someone who can control light, a power long believed to be a myth. The Darkling decides to escort her to the capital, Osalta, so she can train at the little palace with the other Grisha. On the way, they're ambushed by Fjordan assassins, but survive thanks to the Darkling's power. Once in the capital, Alina is presented to the king and queen. Her arrival sparks hope in a nation torn apart by war. Though she enjoys some comforts, like a private room and the friendship of Genya, a Grisha who can alter people's appearances, Alina feels like she doesn't belong. During training, she studies history, practices combat, and tries to master her power with the help of Bagra, a harsh but experienced instructor. At first, Alina discovers she can only use her gift when someone acts as an amplifier. As she struggles to adjust, she writes letters to Mal but gets no response. Being apart makes her question her feelings until she realizes it was her love for Mal that made her suppress her power as a child. By accepting this truth, she finally manages to summon light on her own. Aware that she's still not strong enough, the Darkling tells her about amplifiers, artifacts made from magical creatures that boost a Grisha's power. His goal is to find Morozova's stag, a legendary creature whose antlers could make her the most powerful Grisha in Ravka. Over time, Alina and the Darkling grow closer. They kiss several times, though she feels conflicted about it. Everything changes on the night of the royal celebration, when Alina reunites with Mal. He tells her he never received her letters and that he was recruited to track the stag. They argue, and shortly after, Bagra bursts into Alina's room. She reveals she's the Darkling's mother and that her son plans to use the stag's antlers to control Alina, not to destroy the Fold, but to expand it and conquer the continent. Bagra gives her clothes and supplies and helps her escape. Alina flees west, evading the Darkling's soldiers. During her escape, she's discovered, but Mal shows up and rescues her. Together, they set out for the north, determined to find the stag first. Along the way, they battle cold, hunger, and countless dangers until they finally find the creature. When Alina faces it, she can't bring herself to kill it. That moment of compassion proves crucial. But then the Darkling shows up with his soldiers, kills the stag, and has its antlers forged into a collar around Alina's neck, binding her power to his control. The Darkling takes Alina and Mal to the edge of the Fold to showcase his power to envoys from other nations. Using Alina's light, he opens a path through the darkness, but soon reveals his real plan: expanding the fold even further, destroying Novosibirsk, and threatening anyone who stands in his way. As a final act of cruelty, he throws Mal into the Sea of Shadows, ready to let him be devoured by the Volcra. At that moment, Alina realizes that her mercy in sparing the stag created a deep connection to the amplifier, one the Darkling can't control. She regains command of her power, saves Mal, and destroys the sand skiff with a blade of light. Though the other Grisha don't rebel against the Darkling, she and Mal manage to escape. The story ends with them escaping by ship across the true sea, leaving Ravka, the Fold, and the Darkling behind, not knowing if he survived. After escaping the Darkling, Alina and Mal flee abroad in search of peace. They set sail for Novyi Zem, hoping to start a new life. But their attempt to stay hidden doesn't last long. The Darkling finds them, more powerful than ever. He survived the Fold and now commands creatures of pure darkness, the Nichevoya. Both are captured and taken aboard a whaler, where the Darkling is hunting for a new amplifier, Rusali, a legendary sea dragon. Captain Sturmhond is also on board, hired to help with the hunt. But when they finally catch the creature, Sturmhond betrays the Darkling and escapes with Alina, Mal, and 2 Grisha allies, Tolya and Tamar. Thanks to Mal's tracking skills, Alina kills the dragon and uses its scales as a second amplifier. No Grisha has ever wielded more than one. The power she gains is immense, overwhelming, and awakens in her a new hunger for light and for control. During their journey, Alina finds an old illustration showing the stag, the sea dragon, and a firebird. It's a clue to a third amplifier. She believes that if she can find it, she might finally be strong enough to defeat the Darkling once and for all. Sturmhond then reveals his true identity, Nikolai Lantsov, second son of Ravka's king. He takes Alina and Mal back to their country, even crossing the Fold in a flying ship. During the crossing, they're attacked by Volcra and crash near Kribersk. There, Nikolai presents himself to his soldiers and reveals he's brought the Sun Summoner. Enraged by his deception, Alina punches him in front of everyone. Back in Osalta, Nikolai proposes an alliance to save Ravka. He offers Alina the throne through marriage, but she refuses. Instead, she demands to lead the Second Army, the corps of Grisha that once served the Darkling. Nikolai agrees, and together they begin preparing for war. Alina returns to the little palace, where she finds a divided, distrustful, and weakened Grisha community. A cult that worships her as Saint Alina has spread, fueled by the apparat, a scheming priest who treats her like a divine figure. Meanwhile, Alina searches for information about the Firebird and tries to learn more about Morozova, the creator of the legendary amplifiers. She visits Bagra, the Darkling's mother, only to find her broken and blind. Tension with Mal grows. He can't understand how much she's changed, her rising power and new role as a leader. They grow increasingly distant. During a masquerade ball, Mal and Alina try to reconnect, but the night goes horribly wrong. Later, she meets alone with the apparat, who offers her Morozova's lost journals if she joins his cause. Alina refuses, but her followers already see her as a saint sent to save them. Amid all this, Alina starts seeing visions of the Darkling. He appears in her dreams, touches her, kisses her. She no longer knows if they're hallucinations or if he's truly invading her mind. Meanwhile, Nikolai gets closer, offering support, power, and maybe something more. But everything falls apart when Nikolai's brother, Vasily, makes a critical mistake. He signs a treaty with Fjerda that reopens northern routes, not realizing it will let the Darkling attack. At Nikolai's birthday celebration, shadow creatures attack the palace. Vasily dies instantly. Nikolai escapes with the king and queen, but their fate is uncertain. Mal and Alina race to the little palace where a brutal battle rages. The Grisha fight back, but the Nichevoya are relentless. Trapped, Alina offers the Darkling a deal. She'll surrender if he lets the others go. She kisses him, merging their powers. The shared power drains them both, and just as they're about to collapse, Mal pulls her away. Alina wakes up underground, in a hidden sanctuary known as the White Cathedral, protected by the Apparat and his zealots. She's alive, but something has changed. Her power is gone. The light that once defined her no longer answers, and her hair has turned white. Meanwhile, the Darkling seizes control of Ravka, and though the war is far from over, Alina no longer knows if she'll ever be the person she once was. Alina Starkov hides underground, weakened after the battle against the Darkling. In the White Cathedral, controlled by the Apparat and his fanatical cult, they treat her like a living saint. She can no longer summon light, and her body grows weaker by the day. But Alina isn't beaten. While she pretends to be fragile, she watches, learns, and plans. Using mirrors and tricks, she fakes her power before the faithful. The Apparat watches her closely, restricts her freedom, and keeps her from seeing her allies. Even so, Alina finds a way to communicate with Genya, and together they discover a hidden message in an ointment from David, a signal to escape. The plan begins in the kitchens. Mal triggers an explosion through the chimney shaft, letting a shaft of sunlight break through the ceiling. Alina channels that single ray and, at last, summons her light again. She claims the loyalty of the Soldat's soul, burns Vladim Oswald's face with her hand, and escapes from the cult's depths with her allies. Above ground, they're intercepted by a group of hunters. Among them is Nikolai Lantsov, who takes them to his new secret base, the Spinning Wheel, a fortress hidden in the mountains. There, they regroup. The goal remains clear: to find the third amplifier, the legendary Firebird. Mal leads the expedition as tracker. Alina, meanwhile, trains under Bagra's harsh guidance, forced to master the cut until she can slice the top off an entire mountain. During those days, the tension between Alina and Mal grows. Though they're physically close, Mal pulls away emotionally. He feels out of place in the Grisha world, while she becomes more and more tied to her power. They share tense, half-finished confessions and kisses that stop halfway. Then, Bagra reveals her secret. She is Morozova's daughter, and Mal may be descended from her sister, the one Morozova brought back to life after Bagra accidentally killed her. That magical bloodline explains why Mal can track the impossible. He is literally part of the amplifiers. The fragile peace doesn't last. Sergei, a Grisha traitor, gives away their location. The Darkling attacks with his shadow army. During the assault, he turns Nikolai into a monster, and Bagra sacrifices herself to slow his advance. The group flees toward Devastolba. There, after days of searching, they uncover the truth. The Firebird was never the third amplifier. It's Mal. His lineage, his abilities, all point to him. To gain the power she needs, Alina would have to kill him. He accepts it calmly, ready to sacrifice himself for Ravka, and for her. That night, they share an honest, unguarded moment. They sleep together for the first time, knowing tomorrow might never come. Meanwhile, the Darkling attacks West Ravka and burns down the orphanage where they both grew up. Through their psychic link, Alina sees it. Ruins, bodies, threats. He gives her 5 days to surrender, or the surviving children will die. The group plans their final strategy. Using her power, Alina makes her army invisible, cloaking them in light. They head into the fold to face the Darkling. The battle begins. Alina infiltrates his glass skiff, but it's a trap. She's captured, wounded, with no way out. Then Mal shows up. He hands her a Grisha blade and asks her to kill him. Alina does it. The power released is immense. But the power doesn't stay with her. It spreads to everyone there. Ordinary soldiers, children, Grisha, all become sun summoners. The fold collapses from within. The Darkling fights back. With the last of her power, Alina summons Shadow to hide her dagger and drives it into his heart. Before dying, He asks for an unmarked grave, alone, finally defeated. With the fold destroyed and the war over, Tolya and Tamar manage to revive Mal. Nikolai turns back into himself, and Alina loses her power forever. The world celebrates victory, but the heroine vanishes. Alina and Mal fake their deaths. They change their names, leave behind titles, wars, and magic. They return to Karamzin, where it all began. They marry in secret and rebuild the orphanage where they grew up. They turn it into a safe haven for children, giving them what they never had. Even though she no longer has her light, Alina doesn't need it. She's found something more lasting, a quiet life, a home, and the love of the one who always stayed by her side, even when the whole world tried to pull them apart. Let me know in the comments which other unfinished movie or saga you'd like to see the ending of. And if you enjoy this kind of content, the best way to support us is by leaving a like and subscribing. See you in the next video.